What's up, guys? Austin here, your blockchain bro, here to talk to you today about Profit Trailer. Now, Profit Trailer is a cryptocurrency trading bot. Gives you a lot of different options. It's very customizable. And in my opinion, as far as bots go for trading, Profit Trailer is probably the best, if not up there with the other. Profit Trailer is the best as far as bot trading goes, in my opinion. Number one, it's a pretty smart. I mean, it is a bot, so it doesn't have a brain, but it's very customizable, and if you know how to get your settings right, it can definitely be very profitable for you, for sure. Now, let me first start off by saying, while Profit Trailer is a very useful tool, and I used it for about a month personally, you have to decide for yourself whether you're willing to take the risk, whether you think it's worth it, and whether you think it's going to be more profitable than other forms of trading. And I'm of the opinion now. I've actually taken all my money off the exchange, and I've transferred all into longer holdings. Personally, just because I prefer to put my money in projects and cryptocurrencies that I believe in. Projects that I foresee being around, 12 months from now. When you got something like, now don't get me wrong, you can set up Profit Trailer to actually only trade the currencies you want to trade. So that's a very viable option, but you definitely have to work on getting those settings in yourself. Personally, what I did is I went through and a bunch of the coins that I thought were pump and dumps. I didn't think that they're really valuable in my personal opinion. I thought they were already overvalued. I basically blacklisted them so Profit Trailer wouldn't trade them. The problem is there's so many coins out there that Profit Trailer still will just buy something weird. So I think maybe there's a way to where you can whitelist it and only trade a few coins that you believe in, and I'm going to think that that's probably the best way to do it. But just personally, I reached the point where, I kept getting stuck in bags, and that's it's very common with Profit Trailer, and if you're running Profit Trailer right now and you are getting bags, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's kind of what it's supposed to do, but I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like you can make smarter buys yourself than by using a trading bot. But essentially, it is nice if you get your settings correctly, that you can leave it on all day, come back, and you see the profit that it's made, and you're like, while I was gone all day, it made me $100. If you have enough invested into the bot. But at the same time, anytime we have, there's several different things that can happen whenever you leave the bot running. Sometimes Bitcoin will spike, and essentially what I was trying to do at least, was improve my Bitcoin position. So essentially, I put Bitcoin on the exchange, and you essentially look for a coin that is worth less than Bitcoin so you can buy more of it with your Bitcoin. So let's say something drops in comparison to Bitcoin. You essentially you buy into it because you'll get more. Then you wait for Bitcoin to drop, or the value of what you bought to go up, so that you can increase the amount overall of Bitcoin that you have and improve your Bitcoin position, because long term that's going to be valuable. Bitcoin's going to continue to get more and more valuable. But the problem is with cryptocurrencies. You can see, today already we've seen some changes in the market. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. We're already experiencing another crash right now. Yesterday we were already back at 9,500, and when I just checked it just now, and about an hour or two ago, we've been around the 8,800 price range. So clearly it's dropped off, and one thing to notice is all altcoins, or literally all coins, they all basically ride Bitcoin's coattails. So, well, in a sense, when Bitcoin spikes, you run into the problem with, well, for one, if you're using Profit Trailer, one of the problems is Bitcoin spikes, you're now trapped in that altcoin, and you can't improve your Bitcoin position because now Bitcoin is overvalued, right, in comparison to your altcoin. Now, so really, the only time that the bot is going to be working all day making really good trades is when Bitcoin is kind of flat, whenever it stays in it doesn't go up or down too much, because at that point, that's when you see the life of the market start coming back to the altcoins. You see the altcoins start raising in value. But when Bitcoin spikes, you get trapped in these bags. So essentially, your money is tied up and you're not really trading. So if you're not trading, that's wasted opportunity. And especially if you don't have Profit Trailer set up correctly, you're going to be buying all these coins that aren't very valuable, and essentially you're making high risk decisions for very little reward. Now, because the way that Profit Trailer works is it'll actually trail the profit up whenever a coin, in comparison to Bitcoin, when its value starts to go up, it'll follow it all the way up, and as soon as it starts to go down, I mean, depending on your settings, as soon as it starts to go down, that's when it'll sell. But you may have the situation where it goes up 5% and then down 1%, that triggers your sell, right? So you sell all of it, then it continues to climb up to 20%. You missed out on all that opportunity because Profit Trailer sold too quickly. You also got the problem of it not buying in at the right opportunity. You look at something like Eternity, you look at it, this is not a very healthy looking chart. I mean, personally, I haven't even looked into Eternity, but I was running Profit Trailer, and it bought it. It bought it at one of these dips down here, and it continued to dip and continue to dip. I mean, I see it did go up a little bit here, but I essentially got stuck too much of my funds into this Eternity coin that I don't even really know what this cryptocurrency is. There's so many cryptocurrencies now. It's hard, really, even if you study a lot, it's hard to put enough research into all of them. So that's one of the problems with Profit Trailer. Don't get me wrong, I did run Profit Trailer for about a month. I did have some success with it. I made my money back that I initially spent on Profit Trailer. Another thing to note is the price of Profit Trailer is based on Bitcoin, so you buy it with Bitcoin. So you're going to get it the cheapest probably right now that Bitcoin is dropping. So now is actually a pretty good buying opportunity if you did want to get Profit Trailer. Personally, that's what I did, is I bought it when we had a big Bitcoin dip. That way I was able to make my money back. Now, it did take a little over a month, and I was trading with, what was I trading with? 0.01 Bitcoin. Essentially about $1,000 I was trading with, maybe a little bit more than that. And over about a month, it did pay for itself. So I was pretty pleased with the results. But that being said, I took a lot of risk. And when we started having these dips, I was trapped in these bags. And it's one thing if you're trapped in a bag, if you have your money tied up in a coin that you believe in. But when Profit Trailer buys into some of these altcoins that you're not really bullish on, that's really high risk. And I just determined that personally, I would rather look at the charts myself, make my own predictions about what's going to happen, and really and truly, you play a dangerous game with buying and selling anything and trading. It depends on how you look at it. Some people look at buying and holding as more of a gamble. Personally, I don't think so, because if you really do your research on the technology that's going to be around, you're going to understand the value that something has, and you're going to see growth, in the future. When you look at Bitcoin, we had this major spike, towards the end of last year, and look how long it took us to get there. For pretty much the entirety of Bitcoin, it was super undervalued. The whole crypto, it's still undervalued. But then you have something, now I'm going to go back here again, something like Dogecoin, which, believe it or not, when I first heard about Bitcoin, I also heard about Dogecoin, and I thought about investing in either one of them, and I actually didn't invest in either of them. They're both pretty valuable now in comparison to where they were. But anyway, something like Dogecoin, it doesn't really, as far as I know, it doesn't really do anything. It was created kind of essentially as a joke, and now it's got a market cap value of 450 million. Essentially, it doesn't even do anything. So that's why you have to understand, sometimes in the crypto market, these coins can get really overvalued due to the hype that's surrounding cryptos right now. That's why I don't, that's why I definitely suggest you do your own research before you buy into anything. Make sure it's something that you think is going to be around. And when it comes down to it, that's really the only issues I had with Profit Trailer, was it buying in at bad times, and also selling too earlier than I would have. Personally, I would have held on to it. But what I was kind of doing for a while is I have my long-term holdings, which you just buy and hold. You don't do anything with it. You just wait for you just kind of forget about it. And I feel like that's kind of the way to do it, because when you're trading constantly, you're always looking at the price. You're always looking at Bitcoin, the altcoins, what's going in the market. And it's easy to get emotional. And it's much easier on your mind, and sometimes your wallet too, if you make those emotional decisions and you sell at bad times. It'll be more financially beneficial to you if you just hold on to it. Buy a Bitcoin. If you got the kind of money, buy a Bitcoin, and if you want to. This is not financial advice, but hold on to it. Whatever altcoins you buy, Bitcoin, hold on to it for a year or two. You're going to see some crazy returns. Like, when I first heard about Bitcoin, it was 2014. So we were in the $300, $400, $500 price range when I was hearing about Bitcoin, and I thought, I'm too late. They've already made the money. The Bitcoin billionaires and millionaires have already been made. It's too late. But I was wrong. Look how wrong I was. From $500 to $20,000, literally almost 20K at its peak. I would have made a lot of money if I would have bought Bitcoin back in 2014, which I thought about, but I didn't, which I'm pretty sad, honestly. But it's not too late. This is the first, it's not the first major boom, but when you look at the growth we've had, but yet still the market cap is still relatively low compared to the ultimate demand that there's going to be for Bitcoin in the future. I mean, we could be looking at something in the trillions as far as market cap goes. So we could definitely see a 10x out of Bitcoin in the next year or two. We could definitely see it happen. And that's one of the safer plays. Or, with some of these altcoins, you could make 100x, 1000x. It's honestly ridiculous. But yeah, I don't want Profit Trailer buying something like this where I don't know what it is. And I'm sure some of you might know what an Aeternity is. If you do, if you study it, leave a comment letting me know what's going on with it, if you think it's a good buy or not. Maybe I'll look into it myself, but I mean, you look at this, there's 1,500 cryptocurrencies. A lot of them are not legitimate. A lot of them are. A lot of them could be something huge in the future, or they could be around for a few years, get really big, and then eventually die out. But it is one thing to remember, too, that with these cryptos, they generate a lot of revenue. And whenever you have a company that's generated $30 billion, they're not just going to all of a sudden lose all that money. So if you do invest in something that isn't around for a long time, it's going to be a slow decline. It's not just going to be, you're not going to lose all your money like that. You know what I mean? Unless you panic sell when we have one of these crashes. But I highly advise against that. It's my personal opinion that every time it crashes, that's when you need to buy more. And so that's what I've been doing, improving my position. And there's been some points when I've been up pretty good already, just since I've been investing in it. And I'm only looking to see that get bigger. So essentially, in my opinion, it's much better to long cryptos. But if you do want to mess around with trading, Profit Trailer is freaking cool. And I'm definitely going to do some more videos on it. I might even give away my settings, just to show you what I got out of it. If you do plan on using Profit Trailer, there's a few things I want to cover. Number one, make sure you have your max cost setting high enough. I was using Binance at first with Profit Trailer, and my max cost setting was too low, so everything it was buying was considered dust, and Binance wouldn't let me sell it. So essentially it was taking my money and locking it up, and it was trapped, and I couldn't get it. And I didn't even realize it for the first, probably day. I just turned Profit Trailer on. I was like, hey, let's see what this does. I'm like, why isn't it working? What's it doing? And then I saw the dust accumulate. I'm like, what's going on? And then I realized, oh, my max cost, I didn't read the wiki. I just started messing around with it. Definitely read I can't even talk. Read the wiki before you start using it. There's a ton of good information in there. You definitely want to study everything about it. Also, too, you have several different buying and selling strategies within Profit Trailer. I tried a couple of them out. At first, I was using the EMA spread, and it did work, but I felt like I wasn't getting enough profit. But maybe it's supposed to keep you out of bags easier, but I did switch to EMA gain, and I started seeing a higher return on my money for sure. But then we did have that big market crash, and all my money was tied up in bags. It was tied up in some stuff that I didn't even want, and I'm like, some of this I could see continue to go down even when Bitcoin starts to go back up. So I still came out profitable because I made more than I lost. So it did kind of suck to take that hit. Essentially, even everything out. I made some, and then I lost a little bit, but I'm happy with my decision, especially since, well, I guess it really wasn't a hack with the APIs. Nothing, they came out and said with Binance, there was a scare that some of the trading bots and stuff that use the APIs, that there was some hack that happened. It essentially ended up being a phishing scam website. So I would advise making sure that if you're going to use an exchange like Binance or any exchange really, that I would just copy the name of it. You see how this is green over here? It's secure. This is the right website. Copy it, paste it on a text document, and every time you're going to go to it, just copy it off the document and paste it in here. That way you're going to the right website. You're not going to accidentally, because if you type it into Google, you will see scams and phishing sites pop up sometimes. Now, Google does their best to avoid that, but it does happen, and that's how some accounts were lost. Not lost, but essentially they used people's APIs to buy, I think it was Viacoin, and pump the value like crazy and then dump it, and just to protect yourself. That's a little extra way you can do it. But yeah, so I did have some success with trading. I did like the EMA gain. Make sure you pay attention to your all max cost setting. Make sure that it's high enough that you're not buying dust. Also, if you're exchanging with Binance, make sure to buy a little bit of BNB, the Binance Exchange token. Keep it in your keep a balance of it, because and then make sure you have the setting to where it pays for your fees with BNB token, and it'll prevent you from getting your money trapped in dust. And if you do, you'll probably collect a little bit of dust, but eventually, if you let Profit Trailer keep trading, it'll trade those coins again, and I was able to get most of my money back out of the dust that I was trapped in, and that did make me happy, because I was upset for a little bit, because I didn't put that much in it at first, and it was getting trapped in dust because I didn't know what I was doing when I first set it up. But yeah, it's still, I'm of the opinion it's safer to just buy and hold strong projects. But there is value to be made, and you can actually do what I was doing for a little bit, where you have your long holdings, and you also day trade with your Profit Trailer, swing trade. But you're going to have those days where Bitcoin spikes, you're going to be trapped in bags. Bitcoin crashes, everything crashes, you're still going to be trapped in bags. So take it as you will. Maybe just instead of trading pairs, trade back with the dollar or Tether. Tether's a whole other story. Yeah, there's a lot of FUD going around with Tether, and I don't really think it's safe at this point to rely on it. But hey, do what you gotta do. If you can trade with, a lot of people are trading with Ethereum now because it tends to hold its value. It's not as volatile as Bitcoin, and that way it's not going to be jumping around, and you can focus more on, where's the alt going, and you can improve your position easier than with Bitcoin when it spikes and you get left holding bags, which is frustrating. But also too, I want to make another recommendation. If you're going to use Profit Trailer, I would not recommend having your DCA settings very high to begin with. If you have a low balance, you might be better off not using Anderson DCA Double Down at all. Because the less that you're putting into these dropping coins, the more you're going to have to keep trading. And that's how you're going to continue that profit. If anything, there's a setting to where you keep a certain amount of Bitcoin not in bags at all times. And so a smart thing to do would be to keep a certain amount allotted for trading, right? When that gets locked up in bags, open up the Bitcoin that you had just sitting on the exchange and start trading with a little bit more of that. And eventually you'll unload those bags and you'll be trading with more, and then maybe put some aside again, so that way that you always have a little bit of a balance when everything gets locked up in bags that you can release and keep making those trades. Because if you can keep Profit Trailer running, you can keep the profit rolling. You know what I mean? But it's real easy to get your money trapped in those bags, and you might end up wanting to do something else with it and have to take a loss. So think hard before you use Profit Trailer. I'm not down in Profit Trailer. Profit Trailer is freaking awesome for sure, and I turned a profit with it personally, but or at least I broke even because I sold at a loss because I didn't want to keep my money tied up in bags when we had that. And I reallocated where I had some of my positions in to what I think is a smarter long-term play. I saw some coins that I believe in drop lower, and I was like, I want to improve my position in those. But anyways, think about what you want to do before you jump into Profit Trailer. I'll probably post some more videos, probably giving away my settings and giving some more tips on it. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. As always, do your own research before making any financial decisions. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time.